Alright, just wanted to say a couple things before you head out to Tenaja Falls. So I'm going to have 3 different videos that I want to put together here. One will be the drive and the hike. One will be just the driving directions, and one will be just the hiking directions. So just remember, when you come out here, there's no cell service, period, anywhere. Once you get up over the hill out of the Santa Rosa Plateau, there's a couple spots up here on the top, but once you get down and leave the parking lot, no cell reception. At the waterfall, top of the waterfall, if you stand in just the right spot, you can get a little bit of reception. But other than that, there's nothing. So make sure you set your phone on airplane mode and battery saver, because otherwise it's going to be searching for a signal the whole time. Your battery's going to die. So from the 15, it's about, for most people, it's probably about a 35-40 minute drive. I'm a quick driver, and I know these roads, so it takes me about 20 to 25. You can get here from the 15 or the 215, because Clinton Keith comes from both freeways and cuts all the way across. So dogs are allowed out here. They're supposed to be on leash. Nikko's really never on a leash because he doesn't really go anywhere, so he knows to stay right next to me. So I'll let him wander every now and then, especially if there's nobody around. And he gets along great with every other dog, every other person, so I'm not worried about that. So like I said, once you get up here, this parking lot has bathrooms and stuff, well, pit toilets, outhouses, so no running water. There's a little bit of running water that you can pump in case you want to feed your horses with, or give your horses water, or your dogs water, or your car needs water. But in that, just watch the video and you'll see the driving directions and the hiking directions. Please subscribe, friend, like, love, follow, whatever you can do, and show your support. All right, thanks, see you later. All right, let's see how exciting Nikko is. Come on, baby, that's my good boy. You sniff around, huh? You sniff around? What's going on? Where are we? We going for a hike, huh? Are you very happy, puppy dog? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. They have this well here, which actually works. You pump away. Let's see if I can get it to... See, look at that. So I think they do that, I don't know, so you can give your dogs water, or if your cars need it. I know a lot of horses are out here too, so they may fill their troughs with it. So I could go hit the head real quick and pack up, and then we'll hit the trail. All right, we're gonna get going here. I'm gonna track this on my Garmin watch here. So this is the sign: San Mateo Canyon Wilderness, Tenaja Trailhead. San Mateo Canyon, all typical stuff. Don't be bad. So this is Trailhead, so we'll see how far we go today. I'm hoping to make it all the way to the top of the falls. Shouldn't be a problem. So Nikko's ready to go. Yep, gotta mark our trail, right? Yep. Okay, so we're measuring our distance from the trailhead to the top of the falls, and I'll let you know when we get there. Uh-oh. Oh. Little map they put here. Let's see. I think it's funny they have this because there's no fish up here. There's a camp down below called Fisherman Camp where, when the water used to run through here, these things used to run up here. I don't know, there might be some stuck in puddle somewhere, but I've never seen any up here. So this obviously goes all the way to the ocean. So when you get down to the bottom, there's a left or a right canyon, and if you take the left, you'll keep going, you'll come all the way out in San Clemente area. But we're gonna head down the trail this way. Nikko, get behind me. Hey, good boy. Alrighty. All visitors must sign in here. So we'll see if there's an actual thing to sign today. And there is. So we'll sign in, and we'll see you down the trail. Alright, so the beginning of the trail is heading downhill to get you down into the little canyon down here. I'm going to zigzag and end up going down this way, all the way around. So these trails are pretty well maintained. As far as the trails go, and even up at the falls, I've never seen any Forest Service workers or anything, but I have seen them out in the roads here, and they obviously come by because the restrooms are always stocked every time I've come and clean. So obviously somebody comes out here. But like I said, I've never seen them on the trail, and I've only been out on this trail a couple times. I've been to the falls several times, but actually only hiked this trail a couple times and haven't seen any horses or anything. But I know they've been out here because you can see their tracks, but I've never run into them. And you know, people bring their dogs out here like me. Great place for the dogs. I'm trying to recall down in the valley, once you get down closer to the water, there's some poison oak, but it's not too bad as long as you stay along the trail. A lot of edible plants out here, a lot of wildflowers during the spring. It's a real beautiful place. Luckily this side of the mountain survived the fire. It all stayed up on top by the plateau. So hopefully the plateau will recover. I doubt it, but especially in Southern California. Pretty nice trail. No bikes allowed, which is kind of a bummer because I'm before my injuries, before my accident, I was a mountain biker, and this would be a great place to bike. Hey, baby boy, we going for a hike? Huh? We going for a hike? Alright, so it just rained a couple days ago, so the trail's pretty wet. I'm just going to look over here to the left, see if there's any water in the stream. I'm hoping there's water at least down further. Nope, it's no running water. Kind of surprises me. Come on, Nikko. Come on, baby. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. But I'm pretty sure the falls will be roaring pretty good, which will be nice. Usually it's just a trickle, but we'll see. So the good thing about this trail is that a lot of it is tree covered. So the very beginning going down, you're still up in the scrub, the chaparral, a lot of sage and stuff. But then you get down here into the oaks, closer to the water, and quite a good amount of tree cover. So you are allowed to camp down here. There's no campfires allowed. I don't know what kind of permits or anything if you do need them. I don't think anybody ever gets them. They just come down and camp. So like I said, there used to be a spot called Fisherman Camp, and it was exactly for that reason. It's a spot where it used to be good fishing, but obviously that doesn't happen anymore. So there's probably still some fries running around, small fries, and I don't think they get very big. If we come to any big water areas, I'll see if I can find any fish. So this is a common thing in Southern California forest, where trails have been blocked and people have had to go around. Some people went around to the left, went all the way around. Some other people just went through and kind of broke the trail through. But a lot of tree die-offs in Southern California. So do some other hikes, like when I go to the summit of San Jacinto, there's a couple routes. There's just trees down. When I did circumnavigated the 42-mile loop around Mount Hood a month or two ago, just trees everywhere. I mean, it was a huge storm had come through the year before, and they hadn't had a chance to clean it up, and it made for some really tough hiking, climbing up and over trees. But it's just a part of hiking out here. It's not just Southern California, obviously. It's a lot of places. Up there, up in Oregon, it was from the wind. Down here, it's from die-off, from not enough water and disease and bugs and stuff. It's sad. But still try to enjoy what we can. So, come to your first Crete Crossing, and there's no water, so that's a good thing. Just walk across, and isn't that gorgeous? Imagine what this is running. Other people out here. So just came from up there. So here's like the first little spot that some people have camped. Nice little flat area, creek down there when it's running. So that's a nice little spot to camp. And a little further up is the Fisherman's Camp I was talking about. So let's see what that area looks like when we get there. All right, so we come to an area where typically there is a lot of poison oak here. You just can't tell right now because all it is these twigs now. A lot of twigs. All the leaves have turned red and fallen off for the season. But all that down there, that's all poison oak and stuff. And it's a little misleading because it's actually this time of year, the stems are more potent than the leaves are. It gets what's called a urushiol oil, and the stems secrete more of it than the leaves do. So you can still get the poison oak reaction. You can still get the itching and the rashes. So, oh look, found some water. It's not running, but there's some water down there. So at least the local animals get some water. Oh, this whole area is filled. That's good. It's nice. So, unfortunately down here in this part of California, it's so dry so much of the year that the ground gets so dry and hard that the first few even really good rains just runs right off and just straight out to the ocean. It takes several really good rains for that water to start soaking in and building up that water table before the creeks will start running and stay running for a while. So, but we'll get there. It's a nice little spot here. Head on down. Picture here real quick. Love these rocks here. And of course, even all the way out here, there's freaking idiots. Gotta graffiti the place up. All the way out here to enjoy nature's beauty like this. Oh, but don't forget your can of spray paint. I forgot my water and I'm gonna die from thirst, but I got my can of spray paint and my permanent marker. Bunch of morons. And so we've come kind of high up out of the ravine down there. That's because it gets really narrow, and if the water comes through, it can flood out there. So we came up along the ridge here, right there, cut around, ran into another person. Hold on, Nikko. Go. Hey. Where are you going? Ah, get behind me. Go boy. So we'll get back down there soon. All right, we just dropped back down towards the ridge up there. Came down fairly quickly, and now we're back down by the creek bed. And follow this just for a little bit. These rocks are wet, so I gotta be careful not to slip. Look at that, somebody put a marker. Even though you don't really need it, you just open your eyes and look. Oh look, this is water actually running. So that's nice. Oh, you drink some water, Nikko Bubby. Jojo, go boy. Jojo, go boy. Where you going? Where you going? So, when we started out the hike, we were further up on the watershed. So the water wasn't really running at all, even though we just had some rain. But as we get further down, there's been some puddles, and then now we're down low enough to where there's some water running. Not very good, but it's running. There's a lot of rocks here, so that's good. So I'm anticipating a little further down even, might have some more. And then again, hopefully the waterfall is running really good. So the good thing about this trail is it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of turnoffs. There's a couple spots. I'll try to film if there's any turnoffs, because like there's one up here that you can go off to the right. From this direction, you can go off to the right and straight back up the hill, which will take you back up to that road that we came down, a lot further down than the parking lot, about halfway down to the other parking lot. And that's where a lot of people come down and drop down into Fisherman's Camp. So it's kind of a cutoff point or halfway point where you can either start from there or you can end there. So you don't have to do the whole hike. So see, we're even a little further down. There's more trail markers, and people are pretty good about it. There's the little rock piles, the caroms or whatever they're called. Well, it kind of helps show the way, but as you see, there's no water here, no water running. So it just depends on where you are in the thing. Some spots will be running and then it'll disappear back underground. So I'll go back through here. continue following the trail. All right, so now we're down at the Fisherman's Camp area. So you can go left, and that'll take you down a canyon off to the left, and you can hit some other trails. But we want to go straight across past the sign that says Fisherman's Camp. So it's kind of sad, if you think about it, that this is Fisherman's Camp for a reason. Because it used to be a place where you'd come and camp out and be able to do some good fishing. But because of the decades of droughts down here, it doesn't happen anymore. So you'd be lucky to have any decent flow through the creek. But let's see what we get down here. So yeah, so I just crossed the creek there, and there's no water. I mean, it's all underground here. So no water obviously means no fish. So you can go down there if you want and follow the creek, but you want to go up here to the right as you cross, right when you cross the creek. And then over here will be another little junction, the one I talked about way back there, where you can head out of the canyon. So to the right is the Fisherman Camp Trailhead. Takes you up an old dirt road that used to come down to Fisherman's Camp. That's a good little steep hike up, but we're going back down because we want to go to Tenaja Falls. So it says it's another 2 miles from here, and we're at about 4.3 miles in. So I said about 6 miles or so each way, but we'll see when we get there. All right, so we kind of come to another crossing here. There's a little marker there for the trail, but it's a creek crossing again. As you can tell, there's not really any creek, but you can see the rock piles. Just kind of follow those, and it will guide your way. This is kind of where the two canyons meet, and off to the left that way, which heads west. If you keep going that way, there's more trails. And that'll take you all the way out to the ocean. So we're following more little rock piles. They're subtle, but they're there. See? Little rock piles. I'll take you over to the trail so you don't get lost over here. And then here, and then up and out of the creek bed. All right, so we're back up out of the creek bed, and that road right there goes up and around and around and around all the way up over there and around another couple little hills is the trail out that I was talking about. That's on the southeast side of the creek now, and we're on the west side, northwest side of the trail, or the creek. So, and we'll cross back down into the ravine again and cross the creek at least once or twice more before we get to the actual climb up to the falls. And as you can see, this area here is wide out in the open. There's no shade. So I'm going to guess from where I popped out of the shade to where I'm going to go back to the shade, it's probably going to be close to a mile or so. So just be prepared. I mean, everything else up to that point and after that point, for the most part, is shaded. The last climb up to the falls is, depending on what time of day it is, but luckily, most of that trail is on the on a north-facing slope. So most days you'll be blocked from the sun. Depends on what time you come. All right, so we drop back down by the creek. These beautiful trees here. I'm going to cross the creek again. People put markers, so even if you can't tell the obvious trail through, well, obvious to me, I don't know. Then look for markers. People usually leave them. They're either going to be little flags or rock piles. But people are pretty good about marking the trails. So. Alright, so just shortly after coming back up from the creek right there, maybe 100 yards or so, is another little split. Tenaja Falls Creeks Trail, or Tenaja Falls High Trail. It avoids two fjords, which is two crossings of the creek. I prefer to stay low. Better chance of being in the shade too. So we're gonna go to the left. So there's some actual running water down here. Hopefully I don't slip, because that's gonna be a long fall. That water is disgusting. Brownish gross, but imagine probably another month or so, this will be an amazing swim hole. That water is probably 20 feet deep right there. Once this gets cleaned out from a few more rains, yep, definitely be coming back here. And this was just maybe 50 yards past where the last junction was. So as you cross the creek, if you stay on the creek and just go left up the creek, you'll hit that swim spot there. But again, I would wait at least another month or so until we get a few more rains. And that's going to be a great spot. Where are you going, Nikko? What are you doing in front of me? Huh? Ah. Good boy. Good boy. All right, so now we're getting into more water. So this is just a little bit past that last swim hole. I mean, another 100, 200 yards maybe. And come down the trail, and there's all kinds of water here. Again, it's really icky right now because it's just freshly been raining and washing all the dirt and debris down. So be careful here. Don't want to turn an ankle. Okay. So this is the lower trail again. Remember, there's an upper trail too. So from here, we've got to cross over, and the trail's over there. So you can cross anywhere you want here. I'm going to walk up a little further here. You can cross over. We're going to go right through here. Whoop. Slip, slip, slip. Hey, look, lots of water. Beautiful. Still kind of grody. Nikko doesn't seem to mind. Whoop, boop, 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 boop. What you doing, Nikko, baby? Oops. What you doing, Nikko Bobbers? You're gonna get cold. Come on. Let's go. Good boy. So up here, oh, guess Nikko has to go to the bathroom. Gotta get a picture of that. But the upper trail is just on the other side, parallel to you now. So we're both up about the same level. And hey. All right, so here's back down to the creek bed. And we're gonna cross over. And meet over with the north side. You see, there's a little water, so can't imagine raining, water pouring down through here. You're gonna get a little wet. So that's where you gotta decide. Do you want to take the upper or the lower trail? And if I recall from here, pretty much gonna be shaded until we get back to, or get to the actual base of the trail that goes up to the falls. So what I would recommend is, if you're with a group, is some of you take the lower trail and some of you take the upper trail, just so you guys can compare. And then on your way back, each group switch and do the opposite, which is what I'm gonna do when I come back. So when I come back, instead of going back down to the right, I'm gonna go to the left, just so I can try them both. Because I can't remember the last time I was here, which trail I took. But I'll put it on here, just so you guys can see. There's a pretty little spot through here. Come down, nice boulder hanging over here. So I know there's a couple spots right down in here. If you work your way over the rocks on this side or the other side, take you down to the water, and there's usually some good little sand to sit on, and usually some water in there. All right, so you can pass that little section there, like another 100 yards, and now you're at the Junction Falls and Fisherman's Camp. So just up there, maybe 80 yards is the parking lot. And that's where most people come because they don't want to do the whole hike. And there's more of this same sign down here. But again, I've never seen fish down here. But we'll see what it looks like today. So this down here is, today, I have a feeling I'm going to be able to just probably step right across the creek. But there's been times I've come down where we have to actually go off to the right and go up and around all the rocks and stuff. And there's some ropes up there you actually hold on to when you hop along the rocks, because the creek can get anywhere from 30 to 60 feet across with major water coming through it. But yeah, there's nothing here. So this is kind of sad. This is actually the first time I've come down here and never seen water running. There's always been a little bit running through, not just these little puddles. So maybe the waterfall won't have a whole lot flowing. But again, I've never even been in the waterfall where it's not at least trickling. So it's always been moving somewhat, even if it's just a little trickle, all the way to a major roar. So I guess we just need a few more good rains before that'll happen. So we'll see what happens when we get to the top. There's a trail marker. Falls that way. And trail says that way, but you can cross there, you can cross there. There's spots up here you can cross. If you do that rope thing when there's tons of water, you actually come up a little further up and you end up coming out right in this area here. So it just depends on how much water flow there is. So now we're starting the hike up. We're at 6.23 miles. And if I recall, from the parking lot right there to the top is about 3/4 of a mile. So I got about another half mile to get to the top. So this is a cool little spot. It's just a few hundred yards away from the parking lot before you actually start the climb up the hill. If you go to the right there on the trail, goes under this oak tree over here. And it depends on who's been here, but we've come back here and there's been a tire swing at one point, and that looks like it's gone. And there's been other people who just put regular rope swings. But it's a good spot. See? Oh, campfire ring. Great little spot to camp. Nice and flat. You can fit a ton of people here. And then off to the left here takes you back up to the trail. So, and this stuff here looks similar to poison oak, but this is all actually just squaw bush. So, not worried about it. And then over here, back on the trail, hang a right, and the climb starts. It looks like right now, the time of day, I'm going to be exposed in the sun for part of it. It goes back and forth and back and forth. So I'll be in the shade, in the sun. We'll see what we see. So just be prepared. This is actually an old road, but it's been washed out and messed up, and so it gets pretty rocky. Sometimes this center here gets washed out pretty good. And there's a couple spots up here where the side gets washed out and the trail gets kind of narrow. But this is steeper than it looks. So again, good shoes. Nice grip, ankle protection. So this is the part that gets washed out all the time. That's what, 10 feet down? And then it's taking out half the trail here. First time I ever came up here, all that was just flat across. Because I remember walking on that side over there. Came up next year after a nice big storm, and it was all eroded away. So this is one of the many roads I used to come across. Went up past the falls, up over the top, and came out to what's now the Ortega Highway and some of the ranches up there. And as you see, I'm in the shade, out of the shade on this climb up. And once we get to the top by the actual falls, I'm pretty sure this time of day it's going to be in the sun. But it's a nice cool day today. December 17th, so winter time. So I was talking about the erosion and how the trails change here. So this is all dead branches that they've taken and filled in where the trail used to be, because it's all washed away down there now. And they brought in all this dirt here and moved the trail over and up, because sometime in the last couple of years, it's probably been at least a year and a half, 2 years since I've been up here, this all got washed out. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of nice though, having the trail up a little bit higher. So I tell people this used to be a road, and they don't believe me. How would cars ever used to come up this thing? So, I don't know, what, halfway up, 2/3 of the way up, you come over here to the side, and you see an old car. So, I know we don't have hurricanes around here, so it didn't get thrown by a hurricane. And you can see the cable attached to the front where they tried to pull it out, but this thing crashed up here a long time ago. So I hear some voices up ahead, so there's going to be at least a couple of people up here. But come out over here, you get your first glimpse of the waterfall, which is not running right now. Holy cow. But that's it. The main fall right down the middle there. There's, like I said, it looks like a trickle coming down. So that's how dry it's been. Like I said, I've never seen it not running. So this is crazy. So all this trail work they did is actually pretty awesome, because that rocky stuff you saw at the bottom, that's how it used to be all the way up here. And now it's a nice smooth dirt trail. So much more ankle friendly. But I have a feeling spots are going to wash out. Like this will definitely wash out. This will wash out. It's nice to see they came out and did so much work. I mean, they had to have brought in a ton of dirt. So it's made it a lot easier. So here we are, getting towards the top, almost to the falls. And they got more of that trail work up here, which is really nice. All right, so you come up to this last little hill, and now I'm over the top. If you go over this way to the right, you can climb down and get to the base of the first fall, part of the fall. But most people, you want to come this way, to the left, because this will bring you to the top, or again, you can climb down from any point. But just be very careful, because these rocks, even when they're dry, are slicker than snot. So you always want to take it careful, even with really good shoes. So shoes help, but you still want to be careful. So you come under here, and there is tons of poison oak under this area here. So see, this used to be part of the road right here. They put a cement thing here to cross the creek, and the road kept going. So you can keep going on that trail, hiking all the way over. You can go all the way over to to Ortega Highway. You can go off to the left, hit some other trails, go off to the right, and come up to the hills overlooking Lake Elsinore and stuff. But right through here, just drop off to the right and come over here, and you're at the top of the falls. that has no water. This is absolutely insane. I have never seen this here. But, I mean, look at the sun shining off those things, just to give you an idea of how slick these things are. And these are dry. Dry as can be. So usually one of the better ways is to come over this way and come down here. There's a geocache right over here in the bushes, more along the way and more down below. So if you're into that like I am, it's a fun thing. So climb on down here. A number of different ways, here, over there. But again, just look how shiny the rocks are. You can tell how slick everything is. So I'm trying to take it careful. And you drink that nasty water, Nikko. But when these are running, this is awesome. So that water there is disgusting right now, but after a few rains, it gets probably 4 or 5 feet deep, and you can go swimming down in there. Good little swim hole. So that's beautiful. What are you doing, silly boy? What are you doing? So this is Tenaja Falls. So 6.96 according to my Garmin watch here, and I tend to trust it. I've compared it. I've used my All Trails app a couple times and tracked the trail simultaneously, and they're both right on. So you saw the hike. It's not too bad. It took me, so I got caught up on the last part. So it took me about less than 2.5 hours. Normally this probably would have taken me maybe about 2 hours, but you know, I'm stopping to take pictures and everything and videotape. So it's a really great place to hike out here. Great for the kids. You just need to be really careful around this because, like I said, these rocks are slicker than snot, and the kids don't pay attention to that. They can just slide, slip, slip, slip. So, but you can climb up and around and down and climb down here and get down in there. So swimming down in here, while I've been down there, I've seen garter snakes swimming around the water. All kinds of, you know, insect larvae, the dragonflies and damselflies and stuff. They have these toe biters up here. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they look like basically, I don't know, kind of like freshwater sand crabs, and they're called toe biters for a reason because they'll bite you. But usually, I mean, they don't just come up and bite you. They're not like piranha; they don't come after you. It's just you know, if you step on them, they might bite your toe, or if you pick one up, they might bite your finger or something. So, seen signs of the, you know, mountain lions, bobcats, the coyotes, and the foxes, but I've never physically seen one out here. I've seen deer out here, tons of reptiles, tons of amphibians, tons of birds, you know, skinks, snakes, all kinds of stuff. So lots to see out here. And this place is usually even more graffitied up. Some idiot. This is all done up, but you can see actually people have come and scraped it off, and some people have painted over it, which is nice to see. So actually a lot of this has been painted over. So that's cool, because who the hell wants to graffiti up here? So, all right, this is a 3,500 mile walker. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And there's Nikko, the cross-country doggy over there. And follow us in March as we walk across America together. Thanks again. Enjoy your hikes. Keep on moving. Bye-bye, Nikko. Say bye-bye. All right. Still at the top of Tenaja Falls. Took a little rest for about 45 minutes or so. Let my socks dry out. So we're going to start heading back down now. So it took not quite 2.5 hours to get here. So I'm guessing probably close to 2 hours to get back. Won't be doing as much stopping and filming and stuff along the way. So, but I am going to film that one little stretch, the upper part of the trail down there, and add that to this. So that'll be added later. I wanted to show you that with all that trail work they did, how they have the trail go to the left here. And I told you can go down there or other places, but this is the way they want it now, so they blocked it off. It's actually kind of nice because you come down here and you just had to hope before that the rocks were lined up properly, but they actually cemented it and made a path kind of goes across now. So even when this is rip roaring water through here, hopefully this will still be accessible, or it'll make it easier at least. So it's kind of nice. So like I talked about at that point before, oh man, so they built this up, and you used to be able to go, you used to actually have to climb over this, and you can go under there through that rock into the next and come out the other side. But they filled it up, which is kind of a bummer because that was cool for the kids. But I get it, probably dangerous, they thought. So, and you used to come out right there, which is, again, filled in. But I have a feeling that will probably all get smushed down and you'll be able to crawl through again someday. Okay, here we are back at that junction with Tenaja Falls Trail, the upper trail and the lower trail. And we came the lower trail, so we're going to go back the upper trail just to see the difference. I'm guessing it's going to be like looking in a mirror from the other side, where I was directly across from the trail. So it's a slight climb there, and then you level out and just follow the hillside. So here we are walking up on the upper trail. That side over there is the lower trail, and we're on the upper trail. So one of the big differences is this one's longer because it shoots back in this little canyon here. I think there's actually water down there. It shoots all the way back there, and then you have to zigzag back. So that's the only difference really. The lower one, you do the water crossings, and it's shorter. The upper one's no water crossings, but it's longer. I mean, not by much. You know, like I said, you're just going up this canyon a little ways and then back. So, but as far as the actual footing and the difficulty, I'd call it 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, or however that saying goes. It's kind of cool through here. Walk through the tall grass reeds. And this creek down here is actually running. Just a little bit, but it's actually running, which is kind of odd. It's one of the smaller ones. And that big one down there is not running. So you just never know. So here's that zigzag back, or a zig or a zag. Looks like the trail used to maybe come that way, and they blocked it off or cleaned it or made you go this way. I don't know, whatever. Looks fine to me. So still on the upper trail. So you can see that one's way down there. This is looking straight across. Maybe like that. So that's way down there. And that crosses the creek there, and way up there, another spot down there. And this one obviously avoids it, and you're up higher. So as long as you're not afraid of heights, because this is a fairly narrow path. Alright, here I am back at that junction coming from the direction I started, which would be from the south heading north. And there's the split. So I went up that way, came back this way. And like I said, the only real difference is the water crossings, and then the upper one goes back in the canyon a little ways. But as far as the difficulty, it's exactly the same, or at least in my opinion, it's pretty much the same. And with not having to zigzag across the creeks, going up that little canyon, it's probably about the same distance, if not, maybe just a little bit more. All right, Nikko, we made it back to the car. Made it back to the truck. Hike some more, Pacific Crest Trail, Nature's Neat, Zion. So we made it back, and it's just under 14 miles. So that jives with what we did going out there as far as accuracy on my watch. So, if it was off, it'd be one measurement one way, one the other, but we're right about 14 or just under. So sun is set. It's just shining on those hills over there a little bit. It's going to be getting dark pretty soon, so we're going to be heading home. So it took me about, let's see, so we're at 13 point, took me 5.5 hours. And I'm a pretty avid hiker, pretty quick hiker. I'm 6'4", so I got longer legs. So just to give you an idea how long this hike will be. So bring plenty of snacks and plenty of water and enjoy yourselves. This has been a 3,500 mile walker and Nikko the cross country dog. So keep on moving. See you later.